Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today right here in beautiful Las Vegas at Nellis, and I'll be doing some basic aircraft handling today. I want to show you guys how to do taxiing, like a normal takeoff, a normal landing. Then we'll do probably like a max power takeoff, come in for a steep approach, and then we'll do a couple, probably like a shallow approach to landing, and some roll-ons. But to get started here, I'm going to come over a little bit techniques or tips that I have that I found flying this. For one, I use curves, just personal preference. I have about 12, which I'll show you right here. I'm going to use that on my rudders, on my pedals, and also on my cyclic. I just found it still gives me full control of the aircraft, and it still will give me that pitch damping that I want. Along with that, make sure you're binding trim, so you need a trim release. Definitely put that onto your joystick. Something easy to get to. I have it on my pickle button. And then have a trim reset, be helpful as well. And make sure you do your up, down, left, right trim. Make sure that's key bound as well. Either the keyboard or joystick or whatever you have. And then I will definitely say create a FPS toggle button on your APIS. It'll kind of make things a lot easier for you on the ground, coming to a landing or takeoff, and then I just turn and put it back on in flight. I love this mod, but like little things like that are kind of bugged out, because normally you would have micro switches on your pedals that would kind of like interrupt the trim when you're on them. Alright, with that being said, we'll go ahead and get taxiing out of here. Got some light winds, I think, out of the east. Go ahead and get my guy out of here. So crew chief to beat it. Alright. Get taxiing out of here. Alright, first thing I'm going to do is make sure you unlock that rear tail wheel. Cool. Make sure your parking brake is off. Let's go ahead and hide my dude. Parking brake is off. We're set. Now, the trick I do with taxiing in the 60 to make it the same anywhere I'm at is I'm going to use trim. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put trim forward. So I'm just going to bring my rotor disc down, trimming it forward. Alright, so actually let me bring up my controls for you. It always takes a second to load and I don't know why. Alright, we got it loaded up there. So I'm just going to be trimming up off the axis. And all I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and pull in collective to about 30% torque. That's how I know on this map with my current loadout and the temp will get me rolling. Places like Afghanistan, Bagram, high altitude, if it's hot, you'll probably need to pull like 40% torque just to even get a roll. But here we go. And now you're just going to keep your correct heading using your pedals. And then you can control your speed with your collective. So we got 4 momentum here. Go ahead and start reducing that collective. And then start a left turn. Bring it over here. We're going to take off on the pad on the other side. And basically just control that shopping cart you got here in a straight line. And what you want to do to keep yourself straight is to put your left foot over this yellow line here. Just kind of imagine it, and I'll keep you centered over that line. Something that you should know as well if you're doing a long taxi somewhere, when you apply your pedals, you're going to increase or decrease your torque that's required to turn. So just be aware of that. If you push in the right pedal, you lose torque. If you put in the left pedal, you'll get torque. You see right there. So just be aware of that when you're taxiing. You can get too much speed by doing that. Alright, pulling back more power in. Get moving. And again, I'm only doing this with trim. I have no hand on the cyclic right now. And it gives you good 4 momentum. I'm good set up here. So collective all the way out. Kind of gonna just roll in here. Put my nose, start putting on the brakes, and we'll stop right there. Cool. Alright, so first things first, you want to go ahead and zero out that trim. So hit the trim reset. Boom, back to center again. I already know I'm into the wind. That's probably for any aircraft that you're flying the helicopters. Is just always put the nose in the wind. You don't ever want a tailwind. If you can't get one, just pick up a little 5-10 foot hover and just do a nose turn. Just put yourself in the wind. Save yourself the headache. Alright, so what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and pull up a 10 foot hover, and then what we do is reference my torque and see how much torque I'm going to need to pull that 10 foot hover. And that'll be like my standard I'll be using the rest of the day when I'm flying. Some maps are different, some will be a lot lower. Like I said, Afghanistan, I did one hot weather, and to pull a 10 foot hover, I was pulling 108% torque. So, and I actually couldn't take off. I get to about 20 feet and I droop rotor. So I ended up having to do a rolling takeoff to get up in the air. Until we get a nice fuel dump in here and actually dump fuel. Okay. Got some traffic coming up. I think that's all of them. Alright, so here we go. Once again, trim is zeroed out. And the trim put in right now. I'm off the pedals. Don't need to put input in. The aircraft will do it for you. Alright, we'll go ahead and pull up power, which I know about 50% will get me up in the air, and about 62 to keep me hovering at my 10 foot. Maybe a little bit more today. 6, 7, 65% torque. I'm a little heavier today. It's about, I'd say 71, 72 to keep a 10 foot. Which 10 foot. Cool. So now I have a hover torque value. I can reference that later when we're doing our maneuvers. Alright, so for a takeoff I can do 10% over. So if I've got 72, I'll just do 82 to take off here. So pull in power. Get to 82. There we go. And this is just a normal takeoff. Super easy, super slow. Start getting forward, get some speed, passing through ETL. Still in a nice climb here. Still haven't moved to the collective at all. Still at 82. Well, actually, it's increasing now. I'm putting pedal in. There we go. And then what I'll do here, once I'm kind of at the termination point of my takeoff, I'm going to hold down trim release. So I'm holding it down now. I'm going to go ahead and start pitching forward. Get my forward pitch in here. I'm going to get my level flight. So about 0 there. And then release the trim. You'll see I'm trimmed out now. So I'm completely out the pedals. Like in the real life, so I'm not on pedals at all. Just cruising. You can see here I'm in trim. And I got like a nice straight ahead cruise fly here. Now that was all with FPS off. So usually when I take off, I'll go ahead and turn my FPS on to give me that coordinated control in flight. Make turning a little bit smoother, doing attack pattern smoother, and overall flight pretty smooth. Alright. And really just gotta do a little bit of left cyclic here and get a nice turn. Very easy to fly this thing. What we're gonna do is come back around. I got a little spot over here by the speedway. We'll cone set up and we'll do a couple approaches to it. I'll show you how I do that. There's a speedway right there. Alright, here's usually where I turn. I have this little construction site looking thing here. So I'm going to go ahead and start slowing down, start bringing that torque back. Anywhere from like 40 to 50 is pretty good. I'm going to start my turn here. And I already have it set up as a waypoint, just to kind of show you guys how I work it. And at 1.2 kilometers out, which I'll look here on my HSI, As usual, I'll start my actual approach. So we have our speed coming down, right about 80 knots, that's where you want to be at. Lined up at 1.3, about to be 1.2, and I'm on the approach now. So what I'm going to do is start reducing that collective. I'm going to put that little guide that's right above the dashboard here, and that sensor, and that's going to be like the target I'm aiming at. I'm going to reduce collective, keep that nose pitched up, reducing airspeed, and once we pass through 50 knots, you'll see the stab will go ahead and program down. A little bit of right pedal here. Fighting against the FPS right now. Came a little too slow. Little nose over, continue. More power in, more power in. And we'll work it in, and we'll set her down nice and smooth. So that's pretty much a normal approach, and that was with FPS on. I'll do the next one here, like a steep approach, and I'll have FPS off. If you're flying it, you'll feel the difference. I think I worked with it pretty well with FPS on, but it's going to want to like kick your nose over when you pass through that 50 knots, so be aware of that. Alright, so I'm going to turn that FPS off, and when I take off, I remove my trim. So I do a trim reset, and it's back to centered again. That way if you're pulling up max power, which you're about to do, you're not going to nose over and drag that probe in the dirt. Then I'll just do, once I terminate maneuver, back on the trim release, and I'll reset my trim for cruise flight. Alright, let's get up here. So we'll go ahead and pull power in. So it's 72, so we're going to go to OH. I'll just do like 102. Keep pulling, pull, and then 102. So max power here. We'll get going. Get some forward airspeed through ETL, over 50 knots. I'm on trim release. Keep that nose down, keep the nose down, keep that nose down, and then off the trim. So now my trim's set. And we're level. So we're going to pull that collective out. A nice 90 knots here. Get that turn in, and we'll head back for another pattern. Alright guys, here's going to be a steep approach with FPS off. There's my building. Go ahead and make my right turn. I want to be about 80 knots on the rollout. So I'm making my turn right now. Keep my speed in. I'm at 90, still bleeding airspeed. Coming to, well, actually still 90. Go ahead and start pulling some collective back. I'm going to do a little descent here. I'm at 1.8. Got my rollout. Still too fast. This is down to 300. Alright, we're at 1.2, so now I'm on the approach. Do is going to pull collective back. I want to try to keep my level decel here, so I'm at still at 0 the PVI, 300 feet. I'm going to keep my angle, so I'm going to drive it in a little bit. Alright, so I'm going to bring that collector down, keeping that nose up. This is a steep approach here. Now I'm just trying to picture where that drop marker was at. It's a little nose here. Keep my feet per minute within reason. Oh yeah, save them off a bit here. I'm going to slide right. You're just going to balance all your airspeed and your vertical velocity. Just bring it down the ground. Not as close as I wanted, but you guys kind of get the gist of that steep approach. That's something you'd use in like a ridge line or a hard to get spot in a mountain. You can come up and do that as well. Alright, this next one I'm going to do a low approach. So I'm going to come up, come around, and probably come at about like 150 feet. Come in, get on an angle, and then just start my decel and come to landing. Alright, once again, trim reset. So don't worry about that. My FPS is still off. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and pull up max power at 102. Pulling it, get nosed over, keep pulling. Keep that airspeed up, keep that airspeed up. Noses are going to start coming. Noses coming up. Keep bringing it forward. And then release the collective, or my cyclic. The trim, so you can see I'm already leveled out. Pull power out and make that right turn. You saw how fast we got our airspeed back. Alright, keep descending down here. Get back to my building. About 150 feet. We're going to do a barrel on this one here. I'm going to do a really tight turn. Still at 88, got a lot of speed. So I'm going to try to bleed it in the turn. And 3, 2, 1, going right. Gonna max bank it here. Keep pulling, do a little bit of G up. I sub power in. I've not touched my collective and start pulling that power out. Bring myself down. We're at 1.3, 1.2, about 150. So got a lot of airspeed in, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull collective out. I'm on my approach. Pull collective out. Trying to balance my nose up, losing airspeed, and not descending right now. You can see my vertical speed. Trying to stop a descent. Gonna keep coming in here. Pulling power up, kind of letting the nose fall back over. A little slide here to the right. Keep that power in. Keep that power in. in the dust, wheels down, and then brakes. And that's shell approach. That's definitely the best one you want to do in a tactical environment, especially on a multiplayer server, to keep yourself not visible and to really get down here and get low, get in, get your dudes, and get out. One thing, once again, make sure you do a trim reset. As you can see in my trim, I have it pretty far forward right now in the cyclic. So you definitely need to get that brought back. If you don't, I pull full collective, I'm just going to pitch forward really hard on the nose and just roll over. And we definitely don't want that. Alright, so trim reset. I'm going to come up here, and I'll show you guys a rolling, I'm going to do a rolling landing, and a rolling takeoff, just to show you how that works. Alright, you guys been good here. Let's go ahead and get up. We'll do approach here, the 2-1 right here at Nellis, and see how it works. Alright, coming up. 82. Just my normal takeoff power, and I'm at hover 72. Node's going to come forward. There we go. Still coming forward. And it's much less needed on a normal takeoff. Alright, so let's go ahead and get lined up real quick here. We get to 300 feet. My tail wheel is locked. Parking brake is off. There should be no traffic. I think everyone left already. So get lined up. Alright, we're going to take this 2-1 right here. What we want to do is get down to about, get a nice approach speed here. I'll get down to about 70 knots. Too fast. Going to be coming in here about 80 knots ground. If you're landing, the tail wheel's locked, parking brake's released. And we're on our angle here. Here we go, we're slowing down. Make sure when you do touch down that you're not more than 60 knots. That way you're not going to roll off the runway. So I do have a little bit of left crosswind right now, because I know I'm coming in against that wind. And then once you're stabbing, once we pass 50, you're going to start stabbing down. So it's going to start slowing you down. It's kind of right when you want to start bringing that nose forward to keep your airspeed up. There. Keep bringing a little bit of power because now we're going slow. Keep it coming down. Once again, I know I'm in the left crosswind, so I'm going to kind of put some left pedal to counter it. Bring some power in. I'm going to get that wheel down. Get that tail wheel here. Came in way too slow. That's pretty much a normal landing, but we'll take it. Alright, here I'm going to show you how to do a rolling takeoff. It's good for places like Afghanistan, Iraq, or if you're high, hot, and heavy. Say we have 4,500 pounds of fuel. I got gunners on board. If I have some J's in the back or some JTACs, that were going to be really heavy, pretty much max weight. Like I said before, I was pulling 108% torque to get a 10-foot hover, and then I actually ended up taking a rolling takeoff from Bagram. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and make sure that our tail is locked, that we are aligned with the runway, because we don't have really much way to control our left rate. So if you want to use if you have brake pedals on your rudders, you can do that to kind of like steer yourself. That's how you're going to do it, instead of using the rudder pedal. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, I put just a little bit of tension here, about 2 fingers worth on the cyclic. I'm going to go ahead and get on the brakes, bring in about 30% torque here. I'm going to go ahead and 40, we're stable. Go ahead and bring in 40% torque, come off the brakes. And once you kind of get rolling here, what I'm going to do is start letting that pressure back off the cyclic. There we go. Then start creasing that torque, so off cyclic, and then give it more collective. And we'll keep our roll here. That's 50% torque. We keep rolling. And what we're waiting for is that tail came up, and then give it a little bit more power, keep it in the ground effect, tail's up, and now we're airborne. And you see using ETL and the ground effect with a super low torque value to get us airborne. Keep increasing speed, keeping that ground effect, and then you can cruise out of here. As you saw before, it took us 72% torque just to do 10-foot hover. We took off with about 56% torque here, and still a nice climb. There we go, nose pitching up. Well, I hope you watched this video. I got more coming. In a lot of time, I'll do a lot more hovering topics to keep you guys with FPS on, FPS off. So I'll bring that to you soon. For then, enjoy. Also, if you have any questions, go ahead and drop a comment, and I'll get back to you. Thanks, guys.